Ravenswood, West Virginia. People work hard here, always have. They've raised their families, built their churches, their schools, their community. For steelworkers and their families, Ravenswood was a good place to live, and Kaiser Aluminum a good place to work.
I'd been in the casting department for 34 years. It's something that I enjoyed doing. I didn't like to miss a day's work.
I worked hard as I could. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the boys that work down there.
But then, in 1989, RAC came to town. Kaiser Aluminum sold the plant to a group of outside international financial manipulators. They created the Ravenswood Aluminum Corporation, RAC, and set out to destroy the steelworkers, their community, their way of life. On November 1st, 1990, RAC threw the workers out of the plant, locked them out, destroyed the peace of their community.
It's worth the fight as long as I got breath. That might sound kind of bold, but that's how I feel about it. I ain't about to give up. Just like the sign says, we're going to hold out one day longer in the company.
It's hot, dusty, dangerous work in the plant. One misstep, one extra hour in the heat can kill.
You're dealing with a lot of temperature in the pot rooms. The temperature reaches 150, somewhere around that, 150, 160 degrees on the pots.
The only safety we had is what we insisted on, what the workers insisted on. The company did what they wanted to. They combined jobs, and whether we liked it or not, 5 guys were killed since RAC took over in February.
Jimmy Lee Ryder, Peter Baltic, David Evans, Charles Jordan, Curtis McLean, killed on the job at Ravenswood.
These aren't just numbers, they're people, they're our friends, they've got families, they've got children, wives at home, and they'll never see them again.
All the safety programs and policies and procedures that we had that were in place, the new management teams started to disassemble them. They just started to do away with them, whatever they could.
Despite complaints issued by the National Labor Relations Board, despite paying tens of thousands in fines for health and safety violations, RAC's management does what it wants to, regardless of the law. In fact, in May, Ravenswood denied inspectors from the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration entry into the plant to do a safety check, even though they had a warrant from a federal magistrate.
The main reason they're being this way about safety, I believe, is because they want to run this company like a secret organization. They don't want anybody to know their business.
5 workers killed in the first 18 months under RAC's new owners. Under Kaiser Aluminum, only 1 fatality in the previous 20 years. On February 7, 1989, Kaiser sold the plant to Charles Bradley of Stamford, Connecticut, through the kind of leveraged buyout financing popular in the 1980s. The Ravenswood Aluminum Corporation, RAC, was born. But Bradley sold part of the company to R. Emmett Boyle, and Boyle became the chief operating officer of the new company.
He could care less about the human individual, the worker down here that's has given this company 34 years of their life down here.
I think he needs to take a good look at himself, see what he's done to people's lives, my children, for instance, the neighborhood. Of course, I know he don't live in this neighborhood. It don't matter to him one way or the other.
RAC's ownership isn't just Boyle and Bradley, though. There is much, much more to it than that. Ravenswood is part of a complex international financial empire. A major creditor of RAC is NMB Post Bank Group in the Netherlands. A large part of RAC is owned by Willy Strathodi of Zug, Switzerland, who is also president of a company called Clarendon Limited. Mark Rich, a fugitive from American justice, owns nearly 50% of Clarendon Limited. Ravenswood Aluminum's only interest is to make piles of money, even if it means taking on its longtime workers to do it.
I don't think RAC ever had intentions to bargain in good faith. By the preparations that they made, they had put up barbed wire, all around the plant, and they came in and put video cameras on the roofs down there and locations where they could see every movement of anybody coming and going.
Video cameras, barbed wire fences, paramilitary security forces. The company brought it all to the plant and created Fort RAC months before the contract expired.
Ravenswood Aluminum Company's proposal to the union included some contract language changes, but very, very dramatic economic proposals in reduction. They also had proposals that would almost eliminate contracting out questions, disregard in almost total effect any seniority practices, and also job combinations that were just unbelievable in number.
They never did start out to bargain in good faith. The only thing that they started out doing was to play pretense of negotiating. They did not negotiate on any subject at any time.
In an effort to continue negotiations and continue production at the facility, the union made an offer to extend the terms of the current agreement while the parties continue to make an effort to resolve the negotiations. We did this in all sincerity, and it was rejected with just a very, in fact, there is no comment from the company other than the word no. It was clear to the union that after these many efforts that the company had premeditated the lockout situation and didn't intend to reach an agreement with this union.
And at 12:01 a.m., November 1st, 1990, the lockout was on.
Well, we went to work, and 30 minutes into the shift, they come and told us we'd have to leave the premises and leave them immediately, take everything we got with us and go. As we was leaving, I looked back, the backside of the pot room there, and I seen, I don't know how many scab laborers, they call them replacement workers, but scabs as we know them, were coming in the other door, and it was a funny feeling, it really was.
When the lockout began, RAC stole the workers' jobs by bringing in permanent replacement workers, a group of scabs that has grown to more than 1,000. But they weren't content to stop there. Ravenswood management purposely raised tensions by sending out their paramilitary security guards.
Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 people with plastic shields blocking State Route 2.
They're just a typical goon guards. That's all there are. They're out to intimidate the membership, the picketers, or anything else and cause incidents. That's the only way that they retain their job.
The company's attacks aren't affecting only the locked-out workers. They're affecting the workers' families, the whole community.
The first few months, it was difficult on us, getting adjusted, and home life, it had a lot of strains, a lot of pressure.
It's been pretty hard. As far as our relationship together, it was pretty rough for a while, but I think we've pulled it back together and things are going to be okay.
My family understands, but a lot of the kids they go to school with, their daddies are was what we considered locked in at the time, and their friends are company friends, and it's kind of hard.
The middle school, there has been some fights and things going on, so I think my younger son notices it more.
I think it's wrong for him to take away all these people's jobs and hire a bunch of other people, because these people have been working there for a long time and they deserve the job.
Ravenswood had been a close-knit community where everybody knew everybody. Small businesses thrived, but RAC and Emmett Boyle changed all that.
I think this thing has affected Ravenswood like a plague. Had it not been for the union at Ravenswood Aluminum Corporation, the standard of living in Ravenswood, Jackson County as a whole, would not be anything like it is now.
Our breakfast is down probably half or 3/4 because the men, that was working are not going to work now. I've been raised union for the last 20-some years, and my dad has been an employee of Kaiser, and I just feel that things weren't right the way it happened.
But no matter what RAC throws at the workers, their families, and their community, they're fighting back. On the picket lines, in the community, in the halls of government, the message of justice for the Ravenswood workers rings loud and clear. The RAC story is being told by means of a coordinated campaign under the direction of USWA Vice President George Becker.
There's a lot that we can say and do about Ravenswood aluminum. There's a lot that we can say about the 1,700 jobs that were stolen by scabs. There's a lot that we can say about the future of Ravenswood Union and the future of the scabs that are at Ravenswood. There's a lot that we can say about the companies that do business with Ravenswood, that buy the product and make it into something that's sold out there, that are providing the sustenance for Ravenswood to continue their attack upon the Union. There's a lot that we can do about that.
Beginning in March of 1991, teams of locked-out workers hit the road. Traveling to RAC owner Charles Bradley's hometown of Stamford, Connecticut, 40 workers passed out leaflets that told of their struggle and who was responsible. Since then, workers have been to New York, Minnesota, and major public events in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and more, telling their story and asking folks not to buy beer and soft drinks in cans made with RAC aluminum.
One of the things we're doing now, which will involve everyone here and everyone in the country ultimately if this struggle continues, is that we're chasing down the product that's going out of that scab plant. Now, there's not a lot of product going out, which is a good thing, but there is product going out. And we're chasing that product everywhere it goes. If it goes off to a plant to be used in some other process, if it goes, as a great deal of it does, to end up in beverage cans of this kind or beer cans or whatever, we're tracing that product down. We're going to find every place in America where it's used, and we're going to let every trade unionist in those places in America know and understand that if they buy one of those cans, they're helping a scab company and a bunch of scabs in Ravenswood, and we're going to bring that to a halt.
Through research by the Steelworkers International Union and the AFL-CIO, the complex web of RAC's ownership has been revealed for all to see. RAC isn't just a small, independent company. It's a key part of an international network of financial and aluminum manufacturing operations.
When Kaiser Aluminum owned this facility, there was never in 30-some years a work stoppage on a contract negotiations. We had a decent labor-management relationship. Efforts were made by the parties to resolve the issues. This particular RAC company has made no effort to do that. The other critical issue here in this matter is replacement workers. Our members were replaced by workers the first day of the lockout. The laws in America must prohibit such activity. The old days they were scabs. Now they call them replacement workers. They're one and the same.
People are finding out about RAC and what this fight means for every working person in America. And the more people know, the stronger their support for the steelworkers gets.
I say that do they break the union down here, this will have the snowball effect. No one's job will be secure.
If RAC succeeds in beating this union, then all unions, and not only unions across the country, but all working people are going to lose. I feel like this is a master plan to undermine what the workers have built up in this country over the years.
That's why the locked-out workers at Ravenswood are sticking together, fighting back.
Solidarity. I believe with all my heart.
It's going to take the solidarity of all these members sticking together, and we'll win it. There's no doubt in my mind.
And I have to tell you something, because some people may say this is one struggle in the hills of West Virginia against a company most Americans have never even heard of. But you and I, we know better than that, because we know that when Emmett Boyle gets the crap kicked out of him at Ravenswood, all of us win.
In the end, there's only one answer. In the end, the answer is unity, solidarity, commitment, and support to each other. They may have money, they may have lawyers, they may have some flakes out there who work for them, but brothers and sisters, we have each other.
Darn right's right. it's worth a fight. I'll fight from here on out. It's worth a fight as long as I got breath.
The locked-out workers of USWA Local Union 5668 are doing all they can to carry on this fight themselves. They've set up a worker assistance center to help families pay their bills, built and stocked a food bank, and erected a solidarity campground called Fort Unity on the locals' grounds. But they're not fighting just for their rights, they're fighting for your rights and those of every other working person in America, and they need your help and your support. Please give generously to the locals' Lockout Assistance Fund. Mail your contributions to Special Member Assistance Fund, Post Office Box 56, Ravenswood, West Virginia, 26164.